Hello. This is a whole grown adult talking.
So aggressive.
Welcome to. Yes, I am aggressive. Or my passive aggressive. Welcome to Banana Bebop. We're back. Um, I just got my. I was very happy, and then I was now not because I looked at the weather, and I think that we can relate. Everyone can relate to that. Um, Today we're going to talk about my favorite manga turned into anime, um, adapted into an anime, Kaiju number 8. And if you know me and have been in my Discord or listening to me at all, you know that this is a really important thing for me, especially just being so connected to the manga and loving it for so long. So we're going to talk about our reactions to the first episode, and then you'll see us in different clothes. We're just gonna get naked. No. We're going
To
to
party.
watch episode number 2 on Saturday and finish this to see if we feel any different, to, whatever,
Yeah.
compare and contrast.
When did Kaiju number 8 come out? Not the anime, but the manga. Like, how long has it been out? Do you know?
Probably like 3 years, maybe.
Really? We don't have to look it
I could
up.
look.
It's fine.
Okay.
I was just wondering, because you said it was your favorite, but I know you haven't been reading it the whole time, right? You just started it what, like
I started like halfway where, no, a little less, no, like halfway where they are now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ha-
So, but I don't know what that
halfway
means
where
in
they
terms.
are now? What the hell does that mean?
Like there right now it's at like chapter 101. I think I started around,
When it was at
when I
50?
started it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was the weirdest fucking way to describe that ever. Plus, I never think of manga
Well,
in
I
chapters.
honestly I am so, everyone, if you're listening, I'm so stressed out recently and upset that like I can't, like my brain is not functioning. Like last night I had a bowl and then I had a napkin and I was going to throw it away. The napkin, obviously, and put the bowl in the sink, and the trash can opened, and I put the bowl in the trash can.
Must have been a shitty bowl.
My mom bought me those bowls.
That doesn't mean it's not shitty. Just
They're
cause.
not shitty.
Basically, what she's saying is it's going to be even
It's
worse
still,
than normal.
yeah, it's gonna be my brain fog or whatever people like to call it is gonna be even worse than
It's going to be
normal. I don't know
even
how to
worse
pronounce
than normal.
anything.
I don't know any character's name, so we don't have to pronounce anything. Oh, we can just leave it at kaiju, and that's it. I honestly have no clue
Yeah,
anybody's
that's
name.
fine.
Nothing. I did. See it when you were describing like where you were. You were describing it by chapters, and I never think about that because whenever Ash wants manga, it's like the books. So that's what I
Right.
always think
It's
about it
volume.
as. Yeah, and so like I have no idea what book they're on now, um, but yeah,
I can tell you either because
yeah, because you do chapters. What are you
I
doing
do
now, you
chapter.
weirdo?
No, nothing. I was doing nothing.
Yeah, stop going down rabbit holes. Focus, focus, focus.
No, no, no. I wanted to make sure that I was correct about something. Cause so I'll start out by saying like, um, I and probably all manga readers may have figured it out. Like based on the character and voice actor list, like I have figured out about where, almost exactly where I think it's gonna stop
The
the
first
anime
season's gonna
because
stop.
of like
Hmm.
who's not included in that, which has bummed me out because like one of my favorite characters um isn't included, but that's fine
Hmm.
because like I love it. But so like if you read it and want to look at that, that's just something I
What?
noticed. Like, so I think I have a really good grasp on where it's gonna end,
I think it's only
which
gonna
is gonna
be
be it's still
12.
gonna be incredible.
It's only gonna be like 12 or 13 episodes, right? So
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would imagine they can't get super far with that. I mean, they could, but they would probably have to skip a lot. But
Yeah.
just from
No,
the
I mean,
first episode, it doesn't look like they're gonna do that. Because I mean, that one wasn't. That was like a singular day or whatever. So I assume it's gonna, goes a little bit
yeah.
further than
I
that.
well, actually, I was happy put all of it into one episode. I wasn't sure if they were going to, um, like show him turning into a kaiju in that episode. Like I thought they might stop like halfway through.
Which is
And
where
like
it
do a
ended,
little bit
right? Like
more.
that's what he was. He was a kaiju or whatever at the end of that.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's like
yeah,
difficult because like one, they refer to the kaiju as like the humongous thing, and then that other thing comes and that's not a kaiju. That's like something else.
yeah.
And
It's like
so
a
it's like,
yoju
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah,
So when he popped up, I was like, well, what like makes him a kaiju versus that other thing or whatever, or like multiple things. There was that thing like flying in front of him or whatever. Like what? But I mean, I
yeah.
assume it's gonna like kind of lay that out a bit more.
It will. It will. Like without giving anything away, like it'll definitely lay it out. Like there's a reason why he's called Kaiju number 8. Like
Okay.
there are
I
seven
assume
before
that
he
too,
died.
right?
Like
And I assume that as well, just because, yeah, that's like you're not just gonna throw like an
yeah,
arbitrary number to somebody.
yeah.
So I assume there's like
But no,
different stuff.
they did it so perfect. Like the scene in the hospital for me, like just because it was like, and this is one thing that I loved about it, and that they accurately portrayed from start to finish is that like it's bloody, it's gory, it's serious, it's funny in the way that's realistic. In a like, it reminds me of like certain TV shows, and I can't like pinpoint one right now. Like
Well, it's
where you're
like,
just like, oh shit.
well, I mean, like even not TV shows, right? Like no matter what's going on, like there's generally like comedy in relatively anything. Like you can, I mean, like some of it may be darker than other stuff, but like you and I joke all the time about like random like darker stuff that we're just like, oh, this is ironically funny. You know what I mean? And so it's like I
Yeah.
really did catch that in the anime, and I was like, okay, that's really cool because like I mean, I had no idea what to expect. Like I don't know anything about Kaiju 8 like at all. Right? I know that it's got a
Mhm.
lot of hype, and I know that when they announced the anime, like everybody's freaking out. Ash read the first volume, really liked it, but not enough to ask for another one. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Uh, but yeah, so I don't really know. But then so for the first episode, like, and just seeing the random images that I had, like I had this picture in my head of what it was, and it would totally like wasn't that, and so like that was awesome to me, right?
Yeah, I mean that's awesome once that happens. I think when you're
It's
expecting an
it was
anime.
kind of like Windbreakers. It was like very much the same thing, like where I fully had this like opinion of like what it was gonna be, and then it's completely on the other
Totally
side.
different.
Yeah, and so that was really
That was
cool
me
to
with
me.
Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, same thing. So, um, it feels like a lot of stuff coming out is trying to do that. Like a lot of the more popular stuff, I think people go in with an opinion, and then when it kind of just isn't that, it's refreshing and makes it better that way. Because I was fully expecting like these. I mean, like my actual opinion of Kaiju 8, like when it or like what I thought it was gonna be was like these forces fighting these big monster things, and basically like the main dude is like the head of the forces or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just really basic like that. Almost like what I'm trying to think of what that movie was where
Why
they
does
would
it
like.
think that if it's my favorite manga? Why would it be my favorite manga if it was really basic and boring and
But you
like
also, I don't. It's
were
not
you gonna say you're
boring.
also
Well, yeah, I mean there is that, which you completely cut out, so they didn't hear that. But she said you think I'm really basic and boring, which is also true. But but no, it's more just like that doesn't mean it's not entertaining, because the story. I mean, look at One Piece. It's
yeah.
pirates on a boat.
Yeah.
You,
No,
you know what I mean?
this is
Like, so it's
like
the base
a
premise is
story
what
I've
I was
never
talking
read
about.
before.
Yeah, and that's
Like
really, I mean, that's really cool. And I know that you have to keep at bay like what you say, because you know that I don't know dick about it, and you're very nice and don't want to ruin it for me. So that's awesome. But yeah, I was very impressed with it. Like I was super impressed with it, and the animation was really good. I mean, like you
The
said, it was
animation
funny.
style I loved.
Yeah.
It was different.
Mm.
It's very close, almost identical to how like the manga's drawn in some cases.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
yeah, it was very different animation style that I don't know like I've seen really, and it it was just awesome. Like I don't know, it
Yeah.
flowed really well for me. Especially with the type of like apocalyptic city scenario that you see.
Right. Right. Well, and I thought it was cool too because like I think it, just touching on like, all right, so in the first episode they basically get the kaiju and they shoot him. There's like blood everywhere. There's like guts and all this stuff, and that's like stuff that a lot of times like movies don't really like. It just
Right.
disappears, right? It's just like, yeah, this thing
Yeah.
trampled through New York, but New York's okay now. Like
Yeah.
a month later, and it's and like these guys, it's like showing them like cutting up pieces and like intestines and all this stuff and like the shit everywhere. Like it was just good. I was like, yo, that's real. Like that's so
Right. It's
good.
realistic.
Right, that's so good. And then the rest of the story part was really cool too. Um, I mean, dude getting like straight up mangled. I was not expecting that. Like main character dude to get absolutely shit on in the first 20 minutes or whatever. Like
Oh,
I was
by
by that
the
other thing, the
Kaiju
the
Yozu,
yeah
whatever.
the yo thingy or
Yeah.
whatever. You know that I'm terrible with any names at all, so yeah, I'm not gonna know.
I'm terrible with these names too because like I read it a while ago, so like I only really know a few, but
And I couldn't even
and
remember
I
the
make it up like
Windbreaker's main
other
character's
people's names.
name. I just
Sakura. I only know it because I'm like flower
I mean that
pink
makes sense, but I'm just like, yeah, I don't know,
main
main
character.
character.
Kafka. Kafka's easy to remember because it's weird. It's different. Kafka.
Yeah, that is. But also, I don't know. Like, I don't really pay attention to like the names and stuff in the beginning because I'm like, well, if this sucks, I'm gonna drop it anyway. So let's not waste this brain space that I have very limited of anyway. So like,
Right.
I need to get to I need to get a little further before I'm like, all right, let me lock this in now. Unless they are
How do you
random.
feel about this is huge for me as something I'm reading and something I've wanted to see for a long time. How do you feel about an MC in what is I think categorized as shonen? Yeah. Yeah. That's 31.
I mean, I like that. It's real. It's kind of to me. It's
Yeah.
it's it's the same thing with like A Sign of Affection and why I think it really hit for a lot of people, right? Because it wasn't
Yeah.
12-year-olds. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
these are adults. Now, granted, they were young adults, obviously, but still, you're like 19 or what. I mean, like they're like drinking and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, bet you can just relate more to it. Um,
Yeah.
the thing that weirded me out a little bit was the dude that came that basically like he saved or whatever, and then the guy came back and saved him. That guy reminded me,
Ishikawa.
sure, reminded me so much of the dude from Devilman Crybaby.
That's funny.
As soon as I saw him, I was just like, "Oh, Devilman's here, sick!" Like, all right.
That's
But I mean, like,
hilarious.
in he doesn't like obviously mannerism wise and
Um,
all that. Like, it's
you're
not the
right.
same. But instantly when I saw him, that was the first thing I thought of was like, oh, sick! I'm just waiting on Devilman to come around the corner now because like you're here. You know what I mean? But obviously
Yeah.
it didn't go that route. I mean, it was cool. Like, I think too. Him talking about the whole like I him talking about like them raising the age so that he can get into the forces or whatever. I I
Yeah.
thought that was really neat because one characteristic about me that people tend to find really interesting, and I'm not really sure why, but I always think like it doesn't matter what age you are. Like if you want to do something, just do it. And I've always been that way. which is probably why, like I'm the age I am and was like, yo, I'm just gonna get on anime TikTok because I don't really care, you know. And I've
Yeah.
I've always felt like that, like no matter what. And so to see that kind of like be like dudes like, hey man, they're raising the age, like you could go for it. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, go for it. Like they're like automatically I'm rooting him on because I'm just like, yeah, you're older and you think it's like dumb, but you really have like a lot of life left. Just go for it, kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
and you don't really see that a
No, I
lot
know what you mean.
because we don't have older MCs a lot, you know. Or if we do, they're like fully locked into like whatever they're doing. So,
Right. They're
the,
already, yeah.
right. The only time I feel like we ever see it, but it's not even in the same way because they're almost like forced into something else, is like isekai stuff.
Yeah.
Like the slime dude,
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure was like 30 something, and
Yeah.
then and then but then he was forced into something else. So it's like kind of doing it, but not the same way. But this dude was just like, nah, bro, like you're fine. You're like 31, do it. And I was like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
man. Like let him know. That's dope. So I thought that was super cool, and I'm really excited. I'm glad they're moving. I mean, they're not moving, but they seem to be moving a little bit to older MCs. Um,
Yeah.
because
I'm glad too.
we had that, right? Like in the earlier anime, like in the late '90s, early 2000s anime, there were a lot of like older
Yeah.
characters and older MCs and stuff like that. And so,
Right.
and then
Adult.
right, actual adults, and then it just like went
Adult.
away from that for like a long time, and I don't really know why,
Yeah.
but um,
Yeah.
not
No, I,
kids who look like adults doing adult things, which makes no
yeah.
sense to me.
It does essentially feel like, I mean, for it being a sci-fi, that's complete, like, but it does feel, it makes things feel more realistic because you're like, oh, okay, like this isn't just a bunch of 17-year-olds whose brains haven't developed that are still
Right,
finding their way in life,
right.
like that are like no way gonna be able to do, like, I don't know,
No,
smart
I
enough,
yeah, no,
like
I completely agree with you. I mean, it's like Tokyo Revengers. I love Tokyo Revengers, but like these dudes are 15.
where are your parents?
Right. Well, I mean, they actually explain that a lot for a lot of them, which is kind of impressive. Um,
That is impressive.
but it's still like, no. Like, no.
Well, that's what
You know what I
that's what I
mean?
say.
Like I don't know. But all in all, I was really really impressed by it. I'm excited to see what direction it goes. Um, and if they can keep up with it. I'm glad that it lived up to the hype because there's been a ton of hype around it for probably for really since they announced the anime, and there was before that in the manga community, but unless it gets announced as an anime, I kind of don't really pay attention. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm really hyped too. I One of the main things I noticed was the score, like the music that was so interesting and on point. And I actually had said that when they dropped the like official trailer. I was like, "Oh, this fucking song hits for exactly what I want to think about this anime, what I want to think about like them portraying it as like, and then to come in and like they just had such a perfect touch of things that like other animes don't put in, I think. Like it was really interesting for me. Like I noticed it like right away. I think because I don't like see things like that a lot.
well,
Like
because it's stuff that you probably don't notice that you didn't notice, but now you do because somebody did it well. You know what I mean? Like you don't like
yeah.
almost like you don't know it if it's gone kind of thing. Like you don't know, but it does seem
Right.
like they
Well, like
thought a lot about everything for it. You know.
right. I mean, there's certainly like there's really good anime where I do remember lots of things like that. Like Pluto, for example, is one of them. Like, but yeah, I just really liked it, and the cinematic, like the angles they took on a lot of things, I
Mm-hmm.
thought were really good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to really explain shit.
I assume that that's like supposed to be cinematography or art direction, and
Yeah,
we're trying to figure
that's
that out. So, like,
that's just what I
yeah,
thought. I was like, oh,
Maybe,
maybe this is what they're talking about. Like,
maybe I'm not 100
yeah.
percent sure. Um, no, but I think one of the coolest things about this, and the fact that we're talking about it on the podcast, and I want to continue to talk about it, like that is that you have read it, and like that I don't know anything. So it's two polar perspectives of it, but we both agree that it's like good, and I think that that's what you
Mhm.
want, right? Like that's the goal,
Right.
is people to not know anything
Like,
about it and enjoy it, and people to know everything about it and enjoy it. It's kind of the same, you
exactly.
know.
Yeah, it's exactly the goal. And like for me and for other people in my server that have read it, because I get yelled at a lot for putting people on manga and then they get caught up and then they're like, I can't wait until it's released. Like this sucks. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. But like all of us were like 10 out of 10. And like people that watch the anime may not be 10 out of 10, but like for manga people to like all pretty much consistently be like flat out 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
It just felt
yeah,
really good. And for the anime to receive such high um ratings as well.
yeah,
Um Similar to Solo Leveling, like in a sense of like how for me I loved Solo Leveling. Maybe not the first episode, but like in general. Like I was
yeah,
like, oh, good job.
yeah.
Like,
Solo leveling was good. That's one of the ones that I had the experience of having read it and having watched it. Granted, the hard thing with the reading part of it for anything for me is just like, yeah, I'll read it in a weekend and then I just won't remember like
oh yeah.
90% of it. And so then I'm like, all right, well, cool. And then flashes come in and I'm like, oh yeah, they did do that like really well. Like, cool.
Right. I'm like, oh, I
Um,
forgot about that. Like,
right. And that's neat. I don't know, because Kaiju is not done yet, right? Like manga wise, it's
mm-mm.
not done yet.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see like how long they try to do it, or if it's gonna be like a shorter
I feel
one.
like I heard something, but I'm not sure. Like, I I personally feel like we may have just reached like a climax of the manga, but like I also
Yeah, you never
not
can
sure.
tell.
Like,
Yeah, you never can tell.
yeah, like I'm like so you can't tell. But I mean, it just passed 100 some chapters, so um,
And see, I don't know what that means, like anime wise. I don't know how far they're gonna go. You know what I mean? You never know, like with it.
yeah,
So I mean, obviously, like or you're pretty sure that you know how far it's gonna go. But I just mean like you never. It could go way shorter too than what you're thinking as well. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Because people are missing,
I'm thinking
but it
pretty
could
short.
like stop just arbitrarily kind of thing. Um,
Hmm.
but I
I
am.
do think it will get a second season,
Oh,
like for
I
sure.
think so too. Yeah, just watching the first episode, like unless they just royally tank, like just
Right,
really mess it up, I see no reason why it wouldn't. I mean, it was it was entertaining in the very first episode, which not a lot of anime can do. You know what I mean?
right. That can
So
really get you in the first
right,
episode.
you can
Like
drop it
they
in
put
10 minutes
everything they
when.
needed to in the first episode, and I knew it. And I remember reading the title, and I was like, "The man who became a kaiju," and I was like, "So they're gonna get that far, like they're gonna show him
Right.
becoming it." Like, and I was like, "Really?" And then they did, and I was like, "Wow, they really put just like the perfect amount of every background, but like action and what happened to set you up in
Well,
that first episode."
and I love where it stopped, because
Yeah,
where it
yeah,
stopped, I was like, God damn it! Now I gotta wait
yeah,
a fucking week to figure out why this dude just did this. Like that sucks. But also, like that's great, right? That's
yeah.
kind of what you want. Like I don't
And
want them to do
also,
that every episode. Like that's okay. I don't
right.
I don't need that. But doing that off the first episode to really push you into the second episode is really smart.
And I love like, and I've thought about this a lot, just in general of like the way things happen in this show or this manga is like I love how Ishikawa was at first like freaked out and they're both freaked out and then like he instantly like just believed that it was him. Like he was like, "Oh, he's gonna call you in," and they're like, "Oh no, we gotta go." Like,
Oh yeah, the
so,
old man. Yeah. That was great. He's like,
yeah,
"Oh crap, dude, we gotta get out of here." Yeah,
yeah. So Ishikawa like, but like he didn't like run away as someone that like he only knew for 2 days.
right.
Or
Which is
like
honestly
he's gonna
like
call you.
that's really interesting too, because it's like
I love it.
in that
Yeah.
situation. I mean, I guess because he just didn't wake up like blasting or whatever, like going at him. He's just like, "Oh crap!" Like he's coherent, but looks like that now.
Yeah.
I don't know what. We should probably go. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, where are you gonna go? Like, what's the plan here? Um, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be really dope, real dope. Should we go watch episode 2 now? Even though it's not now, but it's still now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Let's yeah.
Episode
Go
2
watch episode
time.
2.
Sick. All right, we're back from watching episode 2 and some days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
These are
right.
not fresh
These are
reactions.
not fresh reactions, no.
I should look
Uh,
what I typed in my Discord because I did write a fresh reaction. It was all caps. I remember my reaction.
I mean,
What was that?
it was
Were you
good.
about to just
Well, like, cause it was like it's really tough because I think the anime is gonna be fantastic. Honestly, like it seems like it's gonna be really good. Like the direction it's going. Um, they still haven't really explained anything, so I guess like that was my
yeah.
only letdown with it is like that it didn't really go anywhere. Like we're still almost kind of in the same spot, except for that he peed out of his nipples. That's all we got.
Yeah, like not a lot happened.
No.
Well, I mean, you figure out like what level of like strength he is essentially.
Yeah, I mean that's really
And
they showed that. Like
yeah.
they showed like what he is now and that he could transform out of it kind of. But I guess he has to like will it cuz like he like lost composure sometimes and then like was just back in it.
Yeah.
But other than that, we didn't really do anything. So, I mean like he passed the test and is now going to the second part or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was another 10 out of 10. Like
I was still
first of
really
all,
good. Still really good. I would agree with you. It was still really entertaining. Like,
there's so much little stuff that like I just noticed, which is crazy. Like, it's almost panel for fucking panel. Like
is
it's
it?
crazy. And the intro by Youngblood, phenomenal,
Yeah,
absolutely
the
phenomenal.
intro was super good. Yeah,
The outro by One Republic, fucking
I
phenomenal.
didn't even watch the
Both of them,
outro.
just
I'll watch it.
amazing. Then at the fucking climax of the episode, when he goes and he's like, "I'm gonna hit him as hard as I can," they fucking pull back the fucking epic trailer song and put that in, like, and I was just like, "That is fucking sick." Like, it just matched up so perfectly because I was like, "Wait a minute," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the fucking song from when they dropped the trailer forever ago," and it's like an awesome song. It was so good. It was really good.
It was very cool to see like the strength. That was neat. Um, but I am just like I guess yeah, I just want more. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is why I hate watching things weekly because
We do.
I'm like this sucks,
I
man.
know.
Like I just want to spam this because I would definitely just sit down and like this is one that I would definitely just sit down and just watch like
Yeah.
you know what I mean be up till 4 o'clock in the morning because I watched it kind of thing like easy.
Oh
So
yeah, it's definitely like an easy watch and
yeah
like a fun watch.
yeah
It's gonna get really interesting. I'm still interested to see like how far they go. But
yeah
they just introduced a really important character, that girl, at the
yeah.
end.
I assumed so
So,
just because they
which is
they showed a few people but then they like really locked in on her. I mean
okay.
like yeah
Yeah.
and I want to know about her like being able to pick up a freaking car or whatever. Like that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
So no spoilers.
I'm,
No spoilers.
I just feel like I remember not liking her and then liking her. I think.
I could see that because they kind of like when they introduced her, it kind of looked like they were trying to do that. You know what I mean? Like trying to like
Yeah,
put you into a space where you don't really like her, but like obviously she's like a good guy
I
or
think she's
whatever,
like
right?
14.
Oh,
Yeah,
fun.
well, only 14-year-old. So at least there's that.
Oh yeah, because they did say that. I think they did mention that she was like young, like she
Yeah,
was like young, like even for that thing or whatever. But all in all, it's good. I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
I still really like the animation. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because at first I was like, oh, it's kind of weird, but I like it. And then I was like, it's just literally exactly like the manga. Like
That's
the
really cool
way
though.
are drawn. They
Yeah,
just took it and animated it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that's what I'm. That was the thing that I was missing in my head. Like,
that's really neat though, because a lot of times it doesn't work out that way, you know.
yeah.
And sometimes for the better, right? But sometimes not. So
And so far, they've animated his kaiju pretty awesome. Like the way.
yeah, I had seen it. I had seen. I obviously I didn't know what it was, but you know, like I had seen that guy or whatever. Um,
Oh yeah, I think I sent you
uh,
stuff from it. 'Cause the art's so
yeah,
good.
yeah, and I mean, and I've just seen it. You know, you see it on the internet, but I don't know what the hell it is. So I'm just like, oh,
Should I
cool,
get a
that's kaiju.
Should I get a kaiju tattoo?
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick. I don't know what you would get, but yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
I'd probably get him right after he changes in the first episode with the panel or the windows in the background. He's like steaming.
That would be cool. Or the one where he's sitting there eating, because that's funny.
True. That is.
Or the smile. The smile's funny too.
They put the humor in so well and for
It's
such a
so
like
good.
brief like
Yeah, it's so good. When he did that, and he like smiled or whatever, and then it was just like clearly like not that, and then he's like, "Oh crap!" Like that was great. That was great. And then showing the like little girl's reaction afterwards, that was cool too. So, like not of the smile
yeah.
part, but like
Well, I guess
that, like you know, thank Mr. Kaiju or whatever for me or whatever. Like,
if you're like that's kind of the most important thing the episode gave us is that like so they don't like come out and say it, but like there's never been a kaiju that's like communicated
mm,
or done anything with purpose
yeah, yeah,
aside
it's just
from
all crazy eyes
killing.
like the ones we've seen.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like someone saying that to uh Mina, like that's like big
a
for
big
like the
deal. Gotcha. That's
yeah.
cool. Cool. All right. We'll definitely both be continue watching it. I mean, unless they shit the bed or something.
You'll hear about it.
You'll
They
hear
might just
about it in Mal's Discord or us just talking about it. And
yeah,
you
maybe.
know what else happened in this episode? You didn't bring up JJK. I'm so proud of you.
You
This is
know
the
what? I
first
literally just
episode.
almost did.
First
I
episode
almost did.
not bringing up JJK. You're look at you. You're
I
making
swear to
moves.
God, I
You're making
almost did.
strides. You're making strides. Well, you didn't know.
Someone asked me, they were like, "Are you caught up in JJK?" And I was like, "Sadly." And they're like, "What do you mean, sadly?" And I was like, "What do I not mean?" Like,
Okay, this doesn't mean we need to talk about JJK. No, we
okay,
don't. Screw JJK.
hate it.
All right, Mal's going to Vegas, so have fun in Vegas, Mal.
I'll try.
No, do it. Like, just have
Okay.
fun there. There you go. Good job. All right, this is a good show.
Okay.
Peace out, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.